Maiara and Cameron, both of you have this fascinating script for Bight. I'm curious, maybe Maiara can talk about this. Where did the idea for Bight come from?
Well, it was 2020 and we were in lockdown and I knew I wanted to make a movie and I was like, all right, well, what can we do with four characters in one location, that won't
Threesome, a foursome.
have Yeah, basically. No. And so I mean, I'd been friends with Cameron for a really long time at that point, and we'd always talked about writing together, but we were both busy constantly. So it was the first time where we could just be in one, like literally locked up and forced to have time to potentially do this. So I knew when I asked him, I was like, you're not gonna make an excuse this time. Like, we're gonna do this.
I
Um,
couldn't run. No,
yeah.
that's that. I've been a big fan of Mayada's work for a long time, and we had talked about it, and it was interesting because I think at that time we were all feeling this like need to do something, but then also this perfect dichotomy of like, what's the fucking point, man? And I think Mayada really did a great job as she does, just cutting through that part of us that's like it doesn't matter, it's not going to happen, and be like, no, 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 it is. And she willed this into existence, and brought all of us together. And during the writing process, I was hilariously writing scenes and I was like, we're never going to film this. So that foursome scene, I was like, yeah, right, whatever, no one's going to sign on. And then the horizon line is like right here and you're like, oh my god, wait, time out, time
We're
out,
actually
time
shooting
out.
this.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get
Oh,
to that because that reminds me of the Shibari rope scenes, but we'll get to that. Maiara, were you and Cameron always in mind to play Atticus and Charlie?
yes. And then Mark was always in mind to play Sebastian. Mark and I were roommates for like 6 years, and he's an incredibly talented actor. And I'd never seen him play something really dark. And I wanted to write him something really meaty because, like, when you're friends with talented artists, like, you want them to shine, right? So it was so fun writing this character for Mark and seeing what he brought to it. Like, everyone was just dying in the movie theater at our premiere, just like at him pontificating and going off on his tangents. But yes, so it was always the three of us in mind. And then I had worked with Maya. It's crazy how some people just stick with you. Even if you meet them so briefly. We were working on a movie called Baby Splitters with Danny Pudi and Emily Chang. And you played a doctor, right? Yeah. And
Yeah, I was.
one day, I think we had like one conversation. I was like, I love this woman. She's incredible. And then we wrote Naomi, and then I was like, she just kept sticking out in my mind. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. It's been such a long time, but let me just call her and see if she's open to this because it's a dark script and an intense role, and not everyone's going to be open to playing it. And Maya, you can say from your perspective, but oh my gosh, we were
I
so
mean,
grateful when you came on
Maya's
board.
looks alone at the dinner
Yeah.
table is like
Mhm.
We were just
Oscar
talking about
worthy. I
that.
mean, she's like, and I'm like, I can't do it justice, but girl.
I know which one you're talking about when you did that. When she goes
Mhm.
like, we got him, we got him.
And that's the power of Maya, of your acting in the Beth the premiere, to get a laugh from a look without a line.
Mhm.
I don't
I
know
didn't
a
even
bigger
laugh. I was
form of
like, am I
flattery.
into this?
Ah.
Uh,
Oh, well. I'm like,
um,
ouch, ma'am. But um, we'll also get to that as well. Um, Mayara, does Charlie? It seems like Atticus is hesitant to this when it doesn't even seem like he's hesitant. He says, "Not interested,"
No.
and Charlie's like, "Actually," um, does she say yes because she's sort of feeling like their relationship is stale, or is there something
I,
about
I think
this
she knows.
proposition?
I think she knows it's coming to an end, and she's at this point just like, what can we do to save this?
well,
Is there
Mary.
anything that we can do to save this? We're here, we're stuck. and every it feels like the whole world is crumbling and about to implode. So it's just kind of like, well, F it, maybe if this is how it's going to be, then let's go for it.
End with a
Uh,
bang.
what? Yes, exactly.
Unintended.
Uh, without knowing where it was going to lead.
I mean this in the nicest way possible, Mark, but you're kind of sleazy. Giving off some sleazy vibes here. I mean, here,
Thank you.
Atticus is like, we're not nude models. Could you imagine? He's like, yes, yes, I
I
can.
did.
I did.
Uh, that's the beauty of this is like I've mostly most of my career has always been like guy next door, like nice, like Mr. Nice Guy. So I don't get to, I never had an outlet for a role like this in this capacity. I've done it in some like TV movies, but they never fully let you explore those there. But this is like, I was like, if I'm doing it, I'm gonna lean into it.
And it was crazy too, like especially the dinner scene. He has so much dialogue. So he's like producing, right? So he's like putting out fires and dealing with crew and like lunch not showing up on time or whatever it was. And then suddenly it's like, Mark, like come sit. We need you to like deliver this monologue right now. And he's
Like,
like,
oh
what,
shit,
what,
that's
what?
right
Oh,
now.
okay. And then,
Oh no.
suddenly sits into the dinner table and just like starts delivering his lines. It was crazy the way that this all came together.
We were also like the building is across the street from a UPS, so like we had to time this scene so we weren't getting reverse beeps of the trucks during the scene, and like there were in other scenes that like luckily our amazing sound guy was helped us like clean them up, but like there was a lot of like now's the window, sit down, let's do the scene, and it's one of our favorite scenes as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
this might be a Maya question, but Maya, as we were talking about your face in those moments, what are your thoughts when watch this movie and there's just these close-ups on your face at the dinner table? Were you expecting those, or is it just, like a tribute to the facial acting you did in those moments?
There was I mean I've been told this before. I'd be a terrible poker player. I just it's all there and there was no acting involved, just listening. I think I prefer anyway listening than talking, just in general. That's just my personality. Um but yeah, no, I don't think there was any acting. I was just responding, to what was
Listening.
going on
Yeah.
and yeah. Yeah.
Mark,
Maya's a
That's
fantastic listener.
I don't know. I just, I don't, yeah, I don't think I could lie in that moment of how I felt.
Mark Sebastian says boundaries are invisible as the air right in front of us. The difference is without air, we die. How far is he willing to go for his art? Or is this even art anymore on how far he goes?
I mean, I think he later says too, if you're not willing to bleed for it, what's the point? Right. So, yeah, the boundaries thing, that was a great line. I think also the middle part of that is he says is that the you can't you can't see that they're right in front of you. You trust that they're there, right? Um, I think that I think that the happenings of everyone else's behavior um, allow him to push them further. I think he's just like, well, if everyone else is going to cross these, then I think I'm ready to cross them as well. If we're doing it, let's do it. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I Maiara and Cameron, I don't know if I want to see your search engine history based on the events of what happened here. Where, first of all, which one of you came up with the Shibari robes idea? And
Mayada.
certainly, Maiara, what's it like wearing them?
Well, so I did not wear the Maya did, so she
Yes.
can get into that. But I'll let you know like kind of where that came from. We lived in this like incredible artist community, just 300 units of only artists living there. So you're constantly meeting people doing interesting underground things that you wouldn't have thought of. So I had a neighbor who introduced me to Shibari, kind of just like talked about it. And then as we were thinking, like, okay, so we know that we have these two artist couples. One of them's successful, one of them's not, one of them is like an erotic photographer. And then I was like, you know what could be really
Mark
interesting if we
picked their
really
brain at
go.
that point. You're like, here's who
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was,
And so then
Mark.
we're like, well,
Go do
how
your
interesting would
research.
it be to have these like literal and metaphorical ties that are binding these four characters? And then, I kind of like showed, I was like, do some research, Cam, like look at some of these photos. What do you think? And yeah, I don't
It's
know.
a
What
beauty.
was,
It's a beautiful art form. Like
Mhm.
you know, it's it takes its own level of trust as is which is kind of explored in the film, and also it's such a demanding thing physically. Like even me being tied to the pole for portions of time, I'm
The
like,
mask
it's
that
my it's
she's
like
wearing at the
what
same
Maya
time,
had
like
to
having to
do.
breathe
Yeah,
or not breathe.
it's such a visceral thing, and I think that's like the beauty of acting, filmmaking, art in all its capacities and forms. Is like I would never have maybe sought that out on my own, but what a wonderful way to have it be delivered to your doorstep, and now you've learned about this thing and met these beautiful people that participate, and it's just it's 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 so impressive what people have found. I mean, if you Google some images of shibari rope, like some of the aesthetic is so beautiful, it is just astounding. So I hope that people feel that we kind of emulated a portion of their world in a justified perspective.
Yeah, and also thematically, like what a beautiful parallel to the story at hand and the relational dynamics, because Shibari as an art form is an art form of obviously trust, consent, and control. But what most people might not know, and hopefully they learn it through through our support of the art in our movie, but like is that the person who's being bound is ultimately the person in control, because the only reason that they're allowing their binding is through their consent. So they kind of control the situation, and they give that level of trust over to the rope artist, right? So thematically, it's such a great great theme, great thing to have as we're dealing with crossing boundaries and maybe no longer giving consent, or just all of these. It felt like such a great parallel to the entire story, and I think just such a great artistic choice to add that element to the movie, and then also indirectly adding this like crazy Japanese obsession thing to Sebastian, which just makes it all the funnier, right? Like, oh, look at this little like culturally appropriate man with all of his love of different cultures outside of his own, and let him teach them to you,
Let him mansplain it
let
all.
him mansplain it.
Maya,
And then Maya, I mean, you were in the ropes. We were not.
She was in
the
the web.
trust, we are talking about trust that you have to have in, and this character of Naomi has to have trust in her partner Sebastian, let alone trust in who's the person who's putting the ropes on her. Maya, you can maybe talk about as I asked, before, about what it's like doing the rope and what it is about Sebastian that she does trust with how far he wants to go with things.
Well, I think first off, I want to share that just even accepting this role, I think I just put so much trust into Mayetta, and I was not wrong to do that. She is such a phenomenal director, and I knew she would protect me at all costs. Like she was just she's one of those directors, and I'll shout it from the rooftops, but she's just that director that doesn't yell something across the room. She's just so delicate and so communicative and sensitive. And I think we need more directors like that. And then as far as Sebastian, Mark, first of all, is such a brilliant actor. It was hard for me just anyway to trust Mark because to me he was Sebastian. To me he was, just I didn't know Mark prior to this. And Mark is a lovely human being, of course. And I think just I had to more so really trust myself and my own boundaries and really advocate for myself. And I did. And I think ultimately it turned out beautiful because I think we all just played our roles so beautifully in knowing our limits, knowing, how to protect ourselves and be safe. But it's definitely an uncomfortable um, and dangerous. And to some that could be sexy, and then to others like me could feel very quickly unsafe.
Mm.
Mm.
Was there
And
an
then there's also
intimate?
trusting the rope artist too, because at the end of the day, it wasn't Sebastian tying her. There's a rope artist on set who's
Right.
taking care of safety and
Yeah.
trusting that he's going to get you out of it quickly because it's not a quick unhook, right? Like there's a process in and out of this. So there's a breathing and there's a calm and there's a communication all throughout to keep you make sure that you're good and it's that should we back this off and
And he was
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah,
Simon. Yeah.
Yeah.
he was really fantastic.
I mean, there is such an intimacy between all four of your characters. Maya, was there someone there sort of protecting you, as, the woman on set, outside of Mayetta, I should say, from, these sex scenes and sort of making sure your boundaries were okay at the moment when you're filming?
Absolutely. I felt very protected. And I think I felt like everyone had my back. I felt like all three of you had my back, very much so. And I think it's just so important to just, I'm an adult and you know, at the time I was, I don't know, 35 or whatever, but especially for younger girls, it's so easy to brush off and to laugh things off and to, want to play nice and want to be the good girl on set. And I think, you know, it can be dangerous to not really voice, what matters to us as artists. And that the fact that you all respected me and my decisions and my choices, I think speaks volumes about not only the three of you, but also about the work and the final product.
Mayetta as the director and co-writer, and then Cameron as the co-writer. Were
Mhm.
there particular scenes that you're most proud of how they came from page to screen, or maybe even challenged you the most taking them from page to screen?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me the whole every for some projects I feel like you build to these sequences and you look at a call sheet and you go, that's not till next week. I don't have to worry about it. But every day provided a level of like, oh my God, we're going to film this scene. And, kind of to what Maya has just been talking about like the trust and the boundaries and the accountability. I think, you know, Mayada really adhered and stuck to this, like, we're going to do this tastefully. We're going to do this artistically and we're not going to slip into anything that feels smutty or gratuitous for gratuitous sake. Like this is going to be intensely artistic. And in that display, I think, it was a really heavy lift to not slip the other. It's so easy to just be gratuitous. And I think from scene to scene and from effort to effort, it was nice to kind of have it feel like we were all pushing to elevate when we could. And I think that, scenes like Naomi being tied and discovering, how that all kind of comes to be, it was just such an interesting journey, I think. And I just love getting to rewatch it again at the premiere we were just at. I had, you forget that you have accomplished these kind of dynamic moments that I felt really resonated throughout the film.
Yeah, and
Mayetta?
we've also talked a lot about this dinner scene and how that's really kind of like the crux of the movie. And Mark and Cameron have said on multiple occasions, that's when we found out we had a movie. Like if the dinner scene
Mhm.
doesn't work, you don't have a movie,
Yeah.
right? And so it was really beautiful to watch those words come alive. And also, I mean, it's kind of written like a play, right? It's four characters, one location, so you have to have really talented actors to bring that to life so that it doesn't come across as melodramatic or cheesy or this or that. And, I think it's just a testament to to the performers, to the artists that, we ended up choosing to be a part of this, because as Maya said earlier, like it just felt effortless. Um, and there was a scene between Atticus and Charlie at the window, where right after dinner, and I think we had 2 takes. We had 20
Mhm.
minutes or something to shoot that scene.
We're about to
And
enter.
so,
Yeah.
Mark just got behind the camera and we rolled. And I mean, like, 20 minutes to lunch, and then it was just like, boom. But we just like, we dropped in, and it was like, it was so easy. And it doesn't always feel that effortless on set, especially when you've got no time.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it was really, it's a special experience to get to have that level of intimacy with your scene partners.
Okay, well, I'm hoping this makes its way through some film festivals, or maybe, Maya, you have some new ideas coming up, you and Cameron working together again soon.
Not right now. I think we're each filmmakers, directors, writers, producers. So I think everyone has their own projects that they're working on as well. That's not to say that would never happen in the future. I just think that, we all have different projects and are, wanting to wear different hats moving forward.
Well, each of you plays an integral role in making Bight such a standout film, thrilling through and through. You have to be proud of the work each of you has put into making this movie. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you,
you so
I
much.
Jamie.
mean, Maya
So
needs to
lovely
teach me the
chatting.
bass. I mean, I've got to work on Maya.
No, I don't know.
You
I
probably don't even remember at that
I
moment.
couldn't even teach it.
That's so
I don't
funny.
think I could even duplicate
I
it. I'd
mean,
have
the
to.
look, Mark did it pretty good, I will say.
That's because I've seen it so many times, the edit, and we were like, this is in.
It's
This
This is
has
so
to.
in.
it's so brilliant. The simplicity of it. It's
Chef, that's right.
I think that's more
Movie
a
magic.
testament to the actor speaking the words truthfully versus me just, I think that says more about
Takes two to
them.
tango.
I mean, I wonder what
Yeah.
was going through your mind when you're filming that, certainly.
Well, a lot.
Mostly, dude, shut the
Yeah,
fuck
shut
up.
up. Exactly. I was gonna say, shut up. Stop talking.
To me, it looked like, are we doing this?
Oh yeah.
We are.
Lot of subtext. Lot of
Yeah.
subtext.
Subtext, yeah.
Hmm